Authentic as I am, Ugandan born and raised in a small village with a minimum population. I lived in a hut which my parents built for me. I was born in poverty, so every day my responsibility was to go out early hours to put food on the table. On a good day, we would have bread and water. On a bad day, we would survive on prayers and faith. My faith took me a very long way. My parents were becoming old and frail, so I made it my duty to work for hours for water. Our village became our family, even though everyone was on their own mission. We were so close to do prayers together. Every good night or good morning felt like our last. The rebels came every now and again unexpectedly to wipe out our village. Tomorrow was never promised where we came from. People suffered every day of hunger, dehydration, with no medical assistance. Majority of malnourished babies did not survive. A few other villagers that left the village unexpectedly. We never knew whether they made it or not on the other side. We just prayed that they never forgot us. I hoped and prayed every day that one day I can live in Europe, especially England. There was another villager called Kobaka. We grew up together. He was the life of the village. He would always bring up lifting vibes, every enthusiastic. He brought the village together most days. His favorite phrase was, "I had a dream." One day, I was sitting on the ground. Kobaka approached me. He said he has a plan which will make all our prayers come true. As he was a joker, I didn't take him seriously. He said he knows someone that can get us to Europe in a matter of days and we'll have jobs waiting for us. I asked him how. He just said, "Trust me. Have I ever let you down? We have suffered in this village far too long. It's our time to go and get freedom, to free our people from poverty. I need to have a think about it." I went home and I couldn't sleep. I thought of all the struggles and pain. I can die here without trying, or I can go out there and try. I couldn't imagine life getting any worse. I came to my senses and I ran over to Kabaka and realized this is everything I have dreamed of. I don't want to waste another minute. What's the plan? We couldn't tell anyone that we was leaving. I got up to the middle of the night and met Kabaka. He was in contact with his friend and updated him on where we were up to. My gut instincts were pulling me back, not to go through with this. But my faith was telling me, "You've made it this far for freedom." So I tried not to panic. Imagine what Europe looks like kept me calm. We arrived at our first destination. I thought to be boarding a plane, but it was actually a boat. I couldn't believe my eyes. Another strict man who covered his face asked us to remove our blindfolds and told us to stay as close as a boat was due to arrive sometime soon. He informed us that not everybody makes it to the other side. I sat against a tree and gazed into the sky, praying that my family are alright and understand that this is for them. Kambaka and I hugged and shook hands and said, "See you on the other side." We couldn't look at each other as we knew this was likely our farewell. There was more people than the maximum capacity. I knew I was going to die, but I didn't want to die like this, far away from my family, them not knowing where I am. I was looking at the sky, reminiscing all the memories of my parents. This was the end for me. To my surprise, I saw a light getting closer, circulating. I crouched down. I wasn't sure whether these people were rebels. As they got closer, they shouted out, "Police!" Someone shouted, "Help!" And I waved their arms for the police attention. They finally came over and I looked around. I saw Kobaka, body floating. I put my hands on my head and screamed, "No!" I didn't even know how I can begin to tell everybody back home that he never made it. He was taken to a police station and was clothed and given hot drink and food. I couldn't speak or understand Spanish. I had to wait for some time for the translator. I wasn't in any rush, as this was the best shelter I've ever had. I didn't know what to do next, as I was on my own. I didn't know what was ahead. I just knew this was my make or break. I was left to fend for myself in a country where I didn't speak the language or anything. I was in front of the station on the pavement. I didn't have no words or process any thought. I was just numb. It was dark. I started having flashbacks, so I just closed my eyes. I felt a presence next to me. I looked up. It was a man. He asked me my name and I said, "I've been expecting you, Sugar." I was confused. He actually spoke my language too. On our way, he asked me what I knew and what I told the police. I told him what I knew was what I told the police, which was nothing but following my dream. We went to a big house. He took me to the basement. He said, "This is where you'll be living. Before you settle, you will need to meet our boss." He then blindfolded me, so I cannot see the boss. Even though I had no energy, I was looking forward to what they was going to offer me. The boss congratulated me for making it this far, as not many people do. I asked about the other survivors. He told me to let them worry about them. He now explained that if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be in Europe. He told me that this is now my home. I'll be working there for a long time, so I should get comfortable. So the man escorted me to my room, which was quite spacious. The room was empty, but I knew over time I'll make it my room. I lied down on my bed. Couldn't believe that I made it here. And even lost someone I considered as family. I dozed off for a bit and heard footsteps towards my door, so I sat up. A man in a suit came in. I stood up, as you do for respect in Uganda, when an other person walks in the room. I couldn't really see, as the lights were very low. I can see he had a smirk on his face, and he took off his blazer and unbuttoned his shirt and started taking off his trousers. I had a sense of feeling of what was going to happen. I started raising my voice. "What do you want? What are you doing here?" "I don't know you." When the man that picked me up came down and ordered me to be on my best behavior, he said, "This was a transaction you accepted to become a male prostitute. Do not upset the clients or even the boss. Get on with what you came here to do." I replied, "I didn't come here for this. My friend came to follow our dreams." To my surprise, I felt a sharp pain in my chest of the jaw. When the man said, "Your friend set this up. You are right. You are supposed to be, and there is no going back, or they will kill you." My eyes and my mouth was left open. This was the day my manhood had been snatched from me. Everything in me was taken, my faith, my spirit. This happened a number of times in a day for a few weeks. I was weak. It made me sick. It never felt right, but it became normal. I lost my appetite. I had panic attacks every morning. I wanted to sleep in peace and never wake up again. I was then given someone else's identity with my picture on the passport to give me access into UK. I was instructed as soon as I board the plane to rip this passport into small pieces until it is untransferable, which I had done so. I got to the immigration and they asked me for my passport. I told them I didn't have one. They asked me a series of questions, but I didn't care at this point. I just felt damaged, abused, pain, and empty. They escorted me to an immigration holding center, and from there they transferred me to Brook House Detention Center. I saw a lot of people there. My first thought was that everybody was miserable. My first 2 nights were hard. After 2 years, I did get used to the detention center. Even though I would never call it my home, at night all the detainees became restless. They proved this by becoming quite aggressive by banging their doors all night. People were high off drugs. This was their coping mechanisms. It was difficult for me to sleep through it. Over time, I started to ask myself, why am I locked up? What did I do to deserve this? The language barrier was bad enough. I felt alienated in this world, like I wasn't worthy. Ending my life was becoming an option in my mind, but I would distract myself from that fact. I felt like I was drowning in a dark world. I lost myself in my recent ordeal, but the last part for me, which one was my voice was going. Even when I speak, I didn't feel hard. I couldn't contact the solicitors. I couldn't speak English and didn't have any friends or family outside the prison. I was standing on the landing watching other detainees. My body was weak. I couldn't breathe. My breathing became tight. Instant pain. It felt like an out-of-body experience was happening. I couldn't understand what was going on. I froze. I didn't know what to do with myself. I had flashbacks of all my life. My life played right in front of my eyes, from the village, right through the journey to England. The hardest part was processing the abuse. People came over to me to try and support me as my body was getting weaker. I was falling onto my knees. Everything around me started moving in slow motion. It was the longest couple of seconds of my life. I see Kobako on the landing talking with other detainees. I started shouting, "You are dead! You are dead!" As much as I wanted to release and take out all the pain on him, I was too weak to react. He ran off. Officers came over and tried to calm him down and told me to control my breathing. I tried my best to control my breathing, but I couldn't as my heart rate was high. I was carried to a holding room by the officers. I laid down. I froze. My cellmate came over and asked me, "What's wrong?" "I've never seen you like this." Tears came to my eyes. I replied, "I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of trying to fight my battles. These battles are bigger than me. My faith is bringing me more trauma." I appreciate my cellmate. Even though the language barrier was a bit of an issue, he made an effort with me. My cellmate was released after being detained for 18 months. That knocked me back a bit, as he was wise words always kept me going. I trusted him. It felt like everyone I trusted left me. I was happy for him as he did regularly keep in contact with me. One morning, Home Office put a letter to my door asking me to meet them at the office. I was nervous, but I went up as quick as I can. They were waiting for me with the transfer. They asked me, why haven't I applied for bail? I explained I have no family or friends. I have no money to apply for solicitor. How can I live with nothing on the outside? They offered me temporary accommodation. They took me with transport and food allowance every week. As I was going to get my belongings, I met others that were going to the same direction. We all got home. We were all going to Birmingham. They took fingerprints as this was their procedure. I just started settling in the detention center after 2 long years, so I wasn't too keen on moving anytime soon. All I was thinking about was Kobako. So many questions ran into my head. How and why? This plan was not as I imagined. The plan was not as he explained. He did not do this to me intentionally. How did we get here? I didn't see him again. Even though I nearly gave up on my faith, I knew I had to go to church and just pray on all these dramas. Someone took me to church. I went to church every day and prayed. I sat right at the back. I didn't want to be acknowledged or heard. I left before anyone had a chance to speak to me. Today I woke up feeling a bit different. A sense of relief and determination. I went to church with the intention to pray and seek salvation and ask God to protect my family. I went on my knees and cried while I was praying. One of the pastors came over to me and put his hand on my shoulder and said, "Everything will be okay. I'm sure you recognize me from every service." Sat at the back alone. I looked at the pastor and said, "Today I feel better than I ever felt." I sat in church for longer today and rejoiced. I greeted everyone I came in contact with. Today was a very special for me. I made the decision to give my life back to God. I didn't want to carry the hurt and pain. I drowned too deep into my suffering. It outweighed me. Today, I decided to handle all my problems to God. I prayed for everyone that had lost their lives in the process of finding freedom. I called my cellmate and said, "Now I'm at peace. I'm not suffering. I can no longer feel the pain. I'm in God's home, where I should be in a long time." This is the freedom I was looking for a very long time. I didn't realize it was staring at me all these years. I shared my story with people in hope that one day it can help raise awareness for immigrants. I knew one day my day would come where I would no longer be able to share my story. This day has finally come. I am 6 foot under.